There's Facebook groups and forums all over the internet that ask this question every single day. And that question is, can I fit this eBay turbo kit to my stock standard D16Y without a computer, without a fuel pump, without a tune? So today we're going to try and answer that question. I honestly don't know what's going to happen, so stay tuned because we're going to put all of this in there and see what happens. G'day everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now this is going to be a very different video, but it's one I think I should be making. Most of you guys know me from D16 turbo content. My most popular video, which at the moment has around 800,000 views, is about turboing a D16 Civic. And that's what you guys know me for. All of you awesome people that are subscribed and that do watch all my videos will know I've moved on to some other projects of late, but we'll be coming back to the D-Series stuff and a lot more Honda content in the future. This one up here, which I'm gonna throw that up in the screen here, and you're gonna see this one has 814,000 views, by far my most successful video. And it's about getting an eBay turbo kit, in particular a Rev 9 turbo kit, and slamming it on a totally stock standard EK Civic. Now, one thing that I really don't like about social media is people doing reaction videos, stealing other people's content and doing reaction videos to things that they didn't even do or make, and they're just sitting there going, yeah, oh yeah, like on the side of videos. Lame. Make your own content, be original, do your own thing. However, the reason for this video that you're watching today is because we're gonna go through and revisit this video that I did, and it was now 2 years ago, so a lot's changed. I've learned a lot, and I've taught you guys a lot, and you guys have taught me a lot. So we're gonna go through the video. This original video is way too long, I'll admit it. It's 36, nearly 37 minutes long. And we're gonna try and get through this in about 10 or 15 minutes max. And we're gonna skip through. I'm gonna talk about some points. We're gonna shrink me down into the corner, and you're gonna see the video up here. As you guys know, I respond to every single comment I get on all my videos. I don't think I've missed one yet. YouTube is my priority. If you want to get a hold of me, message me on YouTube. If not, you can go to spoolup.com.au and drop me a message through the Contact Us box, and I'll get back to you there as well. For all your Spool Up merch, Turbo Tristan merch, and also awesome Honda parts, and there's a few other brands of cars which we're moving towards on the website as well. It's just had a refresh. So this is not a launch video about the website, but if you haven't checked it out yet, go check it out now. It's totally changed, much more user-friendly. So anyway, into the video. All right, so firstly, yes, this question still gets asked every single day on every single D-Series Honda Civic forum in every country of the world. I'm joined about 15 of them, and every day there's about 5 or 6 per group on Facebook asking, how do I bolt a turbo on my stock standard Honda D16? What do I need? What should I be doing? And we tried to answer it in this video. And will it work with the factory ECU? So firstly, this is a Rev 9 kit. It comes with everything that you're gonna need, but again, we were missing a lot of parts. So here we can see the intercooler, the turbos there as well. And the intercooler is actually quite thick. Probably too thick for this application. You really only need a 2.5 to a 3-inch thick intercooler core. We're not going to be running mega high horsepower. Those 100mm cores are usually a lot bigger, a lot wider, and a lot fatter, and that is to cool the charge air. So this one, total unnecessary overkill. Plus it had tiny little ports on each end that, you know, why have such a big core if you're going to restrict it with the inlet and outlet? Rubbish catch can in there as well. Now the best thing about this kit is the cast manifold. I really like that. Cast manifolds generally don't crack, so they're a good thing. And we've got a rip-off copy wastegate. I recommend ditching any wastegate you get with any eBay turbo kit or any eBay turbo immediately. The turbos are fine, the manifolds are fine. You can trust most other things, but don't trust the thing that's going to be controlling your boost. If that fails due to poor quality, poor materials or whatnot, that's going to send all the boost straight through your engine and definitely going to blow up your motor. You can see here we've got plenty of different lengths, intercooler pipes. They look like they're all going to bolt straight up and do the job, but you'll soon find out that is never the case. Bunch of fittings. The other thing that I really recommend that you ditch immediately as soon as you start to do one of these kits is all of the fittings. They all leak. They're all rubbish. They're made out of the thinnest, most crappiest, dodgiest alloy that you've ever seen. Just tightening them up, they start to shred themselves and come apart. So all of the threads and everything is so weak. But anyway, this is the car that we're doing the turbo kit to. It's a stock standard D16 EK hatch. It has a D16 Y4 non-VTEC. Besides the VTEC, this engine is basically identical to a D16 Y8, which comes in EJ8s. Otherwise, it's 100% stock standard, which is a good way to start if you are starting to modify a car. Firstly, check the health of the engine. This is very important that you do a compression test, check for any leaks, make sure the radiator is good, there's not chewing water, it's not chewing oil. Change your spark plugs. In this instance, we didn't get any spark plugs from the owner to change, so we were left with no choice. Mega budget. We just cleaned them, gapped them, and shoved them back in. Now you can see the car is all stripped down. We've taken out the airbox, the headers, the intake, all of the plastic trays and crap underneath, and the front half of the exhaust. Here's me explaining every single person that wants a turbo doesn't want to compromise. They want to run AC. And with all of these eBay kits, especially the cheap kits, you cannot run aircon. There's just no room. They weren't designed with aircon in mind, and nothing is going to clear. It's just not going to work, guys. Sorry, you're going to have to ditch your aircon. Awesome guys like Mighty Car Mods showed that you can keep the aircon and you can run it, but you're going to incur thousands of dollars worth of fabrication work, or tens and tens of hours, maybe even hundreds of hours of your own time fabricating parts to clear all of that. It can be done, you can do it. Not with one of these kits, definitely not. Luckily for you guys and for me, I had a mock-up engine. This is one that I later rebuilt, and I've dummied everything here up on the engine for you. As you can see, all of these turbos come clocked in weird orientations. So in this case, they're all upside down, so the whole thing's got to be spun around. And then the next thing you'll see is the ridiculous wastegate design. The way that is mounted there, it's just going to put hot air straight into the air intake, which is the opposite of what you want. You want cool air in your intake to keep your IATs down. That way your intercooler doesn't have to work so hard and you're getting nice, cool, dense air in the combustion chamber. The downpipe looks great, fits great, and goes under the car great, but it didn't match up with the flange orientation in the Australian models. I'm not sure which vehicle that kit was designed for, but it wasn't this one. For whatever reason, it came with a bunch of really odd shaped flanges and different designs on where and how to mount the wastegate. There's about 13 different ways you could have fitted that wastegate, and none of them would have put it in a good position. Just on wastegates, I'd recommend using a Turbo Smart genuine wastegate, or another high quality brand that you buy genuine from a genuine reseller. Jumping ahead now, you can see that here's all of the fittings and everything. Most of the hardware that came in the kit didn't fit. It was all too long or too short, so I had to replace 90% of that as well. But I've dummied up most of the stuff here in the engine bay. We've got half of the intercooler piping on. We've got the turbo, the wastegate, and the downpipe all fitted up. I've clocked the turbo in the correct orientation. There is a restrictor in this turbo, and there was one in the top of that fitting as well, so we were double protected with the restrictor in the turbo. Just on the turbo, I get this question a hell of a lot as well. Will the T3, T4 be laggy? Does it spool properly? Will it work in my application? And the short answer is yes, definitely, although it is a big turbo for a very small engine. This is the type of turbo that comes out on Skylines, cars with 2.5 and 3 litre engines. So it is quite a large frame turbo. but Hondas like to rev, so they need that big exhaust housing anyway. So it's not really a big issue. We've fitted heaps of these now and they do the job just fine. We're only going to be wanting to run about 5 to 10 PSI anyway, and it'll definitely do that. Over to the intercooler now, you can see that it's just massive and the piping is tiny. We fitted up the intercooler piping. This part I really did like. It actually fitted quite well, looked quite neat, but we didn't have anywhere near enough silicon in the kit, so I had to use some of my old silicon that I had lying around from my old turbo kit, chop up silicon, add extra bits to fit. So another reason why these eBay kits aren't the best option, but they are a good start. And here you can see as well, the piping was not going to fit anywhere. It was miles out, all over the place. Everything needed to be chopped, trimmed, bead rolled. You had to buy extra clamps, all sorts of stuff. This part of it was a nightmare. Because of the thickness of the cooler, it wasn't going to fit behind the bumper. The way the pipes were bending and angling, and no matter what I did, it wasn't going to fit behind the bumper. So we ended up having to trim quite a bit of the bumper. In my personal opinion, it was a bit of a nightmare and I really didn't want to do it, but I checked with the owner and we didn't really have a choice. Not something that I like doing or that I ever want to do again. We spoke about the hardware. None of it was the right length. We couldn't even get one thread on these bolts, so I had to go down to the nut and bolt shop, get some extra hardware, longer, and replace all of that. So more junk, more things in the rubbish bin. Now this part, very important to pay attention to. Where do you fit your oil pressure sensor and your oil pressure feed line? And here it is here. This is the one that comes in the kit, and I've removed off the PCV valve box, which goes on the back, and usually that's where a lot of your oil leaks are coming from. There's an O-ring there that just disintegrates and oil leaks everywhere. You need to remove the oil filter and then screw that in where the sensor goes, just above. Take your oil feed line and then run it from there. Now again, I said this earlier, these fittings are all junk. I recommend chucking them all in the bin and replacing them with RACEWORKS fittings. Shout out to RACEWORKS, they've been a big supporter of the channel and I've never had any issues with any of their fittings leaking. But every one of these eBay kits, they all leak. The hoses they give you are already crimped and set up so you can't modify them, and you can see there that is ridiculously long. Will pose all sorts of problems such as kinking when you close the bonnet, twisting, getting in the road of other things, so it's best to make a custom oil feed line. With the oil drain line, that one wasn't such an issue. It's really, there's no pressure in there, so it's just got to gravity feed oil back down into the sump. You could use the fittings that came there, but again, it's not worth the risk. If that leaks oil and it leaks onto your exhaust, then you're gonna have a fire and then you're gonna have no car. So for the sake of a few $100s worth of fittings and some hose, replace all that stuff, do it once, do it properly. Here we are back to the dummy engine, and you can see that none of these pipes are clearing anything. We've got the wastegate right into the air intake, and we've had to shorten and trim all of the hoses and pipes to get that to fit in there. I can't stress enough, get rid of that wastegate that comes in these kits. Custom make your wastegate screamer pipe and piping. Even plumb it back into the exhaust if you're in Australia and you just want turbo dose noises, flutter, spoolie boy noises. Get that Wuhan war whistle singing and get rid of that wastegate, put it back into the exhaust, or block it off and use a internally wastegated turbo. That'll solve most of your issues and simplify all of your piping and plumbing and your fab work. So on a low boost application, car like this, where you want to keep everything as neat and also as stealth as possible, an internally wastegated turbo will be absolutely perfect for you and more than enough for what you're going to need. Again, you can see this intercooler, no mounting tabs. There was like some little triangles stuck to the end of it, which I drilled out. Had to make my own holes, my own brackets. They were really dodgy because of the thickness of the cooler. It meant it had to sit out quite far, and that's why we had to hack up the bumper the way we did. Just a horrible package. If they had to put a 2.5 inch or a 3 inch thick intercooler instead of a 4.5 or 5 inch, I can't remember what that one was, but it was about that fat, it would have been much better. Behind the bumper on my own Civic, which is up there on the hoist right now, I've got a 600 wide by 300 high by 3-inch thick intercooler, the same size I have on my VL, and everything fits perfectly behind the bumper, and I didn't have to trim a single part of it. So it can be done, and you can fit monster intercoolers in there, but yeah, this kit by Rev9 was just terrible. Here it all is, fitted up and bolted onto the car. We've got weird angles happening with the pipes. We've got triple flanges for the wastegate. The blow-off valve, that was fine. All those other lines were fine. The catch can was doing something, it was plumbed up, but here you can see the exhaust is not gonna quite fit. Flange offsets were at 2 different angles. Oh, here we are talking about the fittings. Even with that tightened up as much as I possibly could, it's still wiggly and loose. I'm not confident that that is going to work. Silly me, I forgot to put the fire ring in the wastegate. So this is most of the questions in here is as to why it wasn't boosting in the original video was because I didn't put the fire ring under the wastegate, so all of the air was passing out of the exhaust and straight out the wastegate, so it wasn't building enough pressure. The wastegate was already half cracked when I was driving it. There is a part 2 to this video which has got about half the views, and we did fix all of those issues, so check that one out. Very important to adjust your fuel pressure on your fuel pressure regulator. You want to start that at around 45 to 50 psi if you're keeping with the stock injectors, to make sure when they do open that they spray out much more fuel. So it's basically getting the maximum you can get out of those tiny little 240cc injectors. But she's almost ready for her first drive. Let's skip forward to that. You can see oil leaks on the floor from those rubbish fittings. I actually had some good RACEWORKS parts in my toolbox, which I pulled out, swapped over, and donated to the build, just because I didn't want the poor guy to have to fork out any more money and risk blowing up his car or anything like that. So RACEWORKS to the rescue, fix those issues, and you'll see here we'll do a little bit of a drive, and you can see makes all the right noises, barely spooling though because of I'm pretty sure the kit was missing the fire ring, which is why it wasn't in there. The customer later went and put a Turbo Smart 38mm gate on there, and the thing was running a tree. All right, this video is dragging on, but I just wanted to say thank you to everyone that has watched that video. It is my most popular one, and it is what I'm known for. And the reason why I did this video today is because YouTube keeps telling me that you guys want to see more D-Series content. Couldn't agree more. It is nice and easy and is relatively cheap. We've got to knock over the B18 budget turbo build. We've got a heap of sponsors on board for that one. We're just waiting on a couple more parts from the owner, and I can throw the whole engine together. I've got it all apart over there off camera. It's under a cloth, sealed from all dust, and it's ready to go back together. And once we get those parts, it'll go together like that, and we'll be pumping out some big content B series stuff. So we've done D, we've done K, we've come back to the B, and there's more to come in the future. But just wanted to say thank you. This video, since it was published, has netted me 5,500 subscribers just from D16 turbo stuff. And I'm almost about to hit 20,000 subscribers soon. So thanks so much. It's a big milestone for me. The next one is 50K, then 100, and then I can get a plaque to stick on my wall and tell everyone that I'm a YouTuber finally. But that's always the goal, is to do this full time. So thanks so much. 814.9 thousand views as of now, and 100,000 hours of watch time on this one video. So that is excellent. YouTube analytics is so awesome. It tells me that most of you guys are between 25 and 34 years old. And then the next two categories are 35 to 44 and 18 to 24. So you guys are my target audience. And 43.9% of you are from America, then is UK, then is Australia. So thanks to America for making my YouTube journey a success. That's honestly the reason why I started with Honda stuff, because I wanted to appeal to a global audience and a global market. So hopefully that's working. Hopefully you understand my accent. The last thing I have to say is 85% of you guys aren't subscribed, so please subscribe. Until next time, don't forget to spool up bring the boost. Check out spoolup.com.au and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.